You're listening to AI Prism from Seoul Economic Daily.
U.S. top-tier VCs, Sequoia, Andreessen Horowitz, and Mayfield, are now actively funding Korean-founded deep tech startups in Silicon Valley. The number of new Korean startups incorporated in the U.S. went from 16 in 2022 to 40 in 2025. Moloco's Korean subsidiary generated 62.7 billion won, approximately $46 million in service revenue last year, proof that building globally and investing locally is a viable model. Seoul City is launching a 4 trillion won, approximately $2.9 billion venture fund, the largest single municipal startup fund in Korean history. And the Korean government has opened a one-stop support hub in Menlo Park, 10 minutes from Meta's headquarters. It's Tuesday, July 21st. Let's look at what this means for startups and entrepreneurs in Korea. Korean deep tech founders are gaining credibility in global markets, not only from their own track records, but from the institutional halo of Samsung Electronics and SK Hynix, whose semiconductor dominance has reshaped how Silicon Valley VCs evaluate Korean technical talent. The ecosystem is maturing. 193 Korean-founded companies are now operating in the U.S. as of April 2026, and the most competitive founders are bypassing the domestic market entirely to target global scale from day one. Both the public and private sectors are now adjusting their support frameworks to reflect this shift. Here's what the numbers show. Pensive, an AI exam grading startup founded by a UC Berkeley graduate, secured investment from Mayfield, with Sequoia Capital and Andreessen Horowitz Scout funds also participating in its Series A, a signal that formal follow-on investment from both firms is under active consideration. Pickle, an AI avatar startup, raised $4.5 million, approximately 6.5 billion won, from Y Combinator and others, after incorporating in Silicon Valley in 2025. Moloco's Korean subsidiary reported 62.7 billion won, approximately $46 million in 2025 service revenue, under a contract with its U.S. parent, employing approximately 180 people and paying over 30 billion won, approximately $22 million in annual compensation in Korea. New Korean startup incorporations in the U.S. grew from 16 in 2022 to approximately 40 in 2025, with 193 Korean-founded companies now operating stateside, according to Startup Alliance data. Seoul City submitted a central investment review application for a 4 trillion won, approximately $2.9 billion NextEconomy Seoul Fund, committing 200 billion won, approximately $146 million in public capital annually over 4 years across AI, biotech, K-culture, early stage, and scale-up categories, targeting 100 advanced startups and 10,000 jobs. The Ministry of SMEs and Startups opened the Startup Venture Campus in Menlo Park in January 2026, housing Korea Venture Investment, Kotech, KISED, and SBC under one roof, with direct access to Silicon Valley VC networks. So, what does this mean for startups and entrepreneurs in Korea? Earlier, we said U.S. top-tier VCs are now actively funding Korean-founded deep tech startups in Silicon Valley. Here's what that actually means for you. The Samsung and SK Hynix halo is real, and being Korean in deep tech, especially AI, semiconductors, and hardware, is now a positive credibility signal in U.S. fundraising, not a liability to manage. The combination of Seoul City's 4 trillion won fund, the Menlo Park government hub, And rising interest from top-tier U.S. VCs means founders who can build globally while anchoring R&D and hiring in Korea are the exact profile both the public and private capital ecosystems are now optimizing for. And the window to position yourself in that category is open right now. 3 things to watch. Seoul City's Central Investment Review approval for the NextEconomy Seoul Fund. If cleared, the first 200 billion won in public capital begins deploying in 2027, with AI and biotech as priority categories. Follow-on investment decisions from Sequoia and Andreessen Horowitz on Pensive. Scout Fund participation is a stated precursor to formal investment. A Series B announcement would send a strong signal to the broader Silicon Valley community about Korean deep tech. And the Korean government's evolving definition of which overseas incorporated Korean startups qualify for public support. If contribution to Korea's economy replaces legal domicile as the qualifying criterion, the pool of fundable founders expands significantly. That's today's AI Prism, Founders. This episode was produced with AI assistance based on Seoul Economic Daily reporting and reviewed by a human editor. AI Prism is a WAN-IFRA award-winning series. We'll be back tomorrow.
You've been listening to AI Prism from Seoul Economic Daily.